This is part 2 of setting up OpenSquiggly on Google Cloud. I've gone ahead, as I mentioned in the end of my last video, I've connected using Google's ability to connect through the browser via SSH, and I'm now connected into the VM that I've just created. All right, and to make sure that I did in fact pick the right image, we'll do LSB release -A, and it's Ubuntu 20.04, which is what I want. All right, so we're going to cd into opt, and we're going to do sudo apt update. All right, that's done. We're going to now do sudo apt install unzip. Right. All right, that looks good. And now we're going to use wget to get the file, to get the OpenSquiggly zip file. Sudo wget http files opensquiggly.com, OpenSquiggly latest.zip. All right, that was good and fast. All right, and now we're going to unzip the zip file by doing sudo unzip OpenSquiggly latest.zip, OpenSquiggly. All right, now we're going to cd into opt OpenSquiggly setup. All right, and we're going to do sudo bash google setup.sh. Right. Do you want to format and mount a newly attached disk? So we still have to do this because we've attached the disk in the last video. We created and attached that SSD data disk, but that disk is just an empty disk and it's not formatted and it isn't mounted to this Linux instance. So we do want to say yes here, all right? And we've got built-in setup in built into our script is the ability to format your drive and set this up and mount it and add it to your FS tab. All right, find the device name that corresponds to your disk. So it's usually going to be this last one. In this case, it's SDB. Each of these cloud providers use a little bit different naming convention. It is that 30 gig disk that I created, so that's another clue. And then it also says disk here under type, so that's another clue that that's the right one I'm looking at. SDB, I typed that in. All right, we're ready to format the device dev/dev/sdb. Yes. All right, that looks good. Where do you want to mount the partition? I always like to put it in /data. All right, and now this just gives us one final look at this. It does a df-h and allows us to look this over, and we see that /dev/sdb is that 30 gig disk. It's 1% used so far, and it's mounted in /data. Everything will look right. Yes. All right. Do you want to permanently mount the new partition by adding it to your FS tab? Yes. You definitely want to do that so that it will automatically remount that every time you reboot your VM. All right. Yes. All right, so now it's going to list out the UUID. We're going to copy the UUID to the clipboard, and we're going to paste that in. All right, you got to be careful with Control-C in this console. So I'm going to highlight this. Instead of hitting Control-C, I'm going to right-click and say Copy. And then I'm going to hit Control-V there. I want that UUID. I wanted to copy it to the clipboard and then paste it in. Right. All right. It added that to our FS tab, and then it prints out the FS tab afterwards so you can see what it looks like. All right. Do you want to install MongoDB? Yes. Let that go. All right, that's done. Enter the path. I can just hit enter for these defaults. We want the data in /data MongoDB. We want the logs in /data logs /MongoDB. All right, that looks good. You want to install Elasticsearch? Yes. All right, let that go. All right, that's done. Enter the path to store the Elasticsearch data. Hit enter to accept /data Elasticsearch. Hit enter to put the logs in /data logs Elasticsearch. All right, this will take a minute or two to create this, initialize the service and create that symlink. So be patient with that. Okay, that's done. Do you want to install the .NET runtime? Yes. Let that go. All right, so far so good. It's installed .NET. All right, do you want to generate a new app settings.json file? Yes, we do want to do this. Our zip file, so the app settings.json file is a file that stores all the settings that the OpenSquiggly web service needs, and you can tweak that with various configuration options. We do not ship a default app settings.json file. That's why our setup script creates one. So we're going to go ahead and say yes. All right, and the bin folder, the default is opt OpenSquiggly bin, so I can just hit enter to accept the default there. All right, so now what it's telling us is that OpenSquiggly uses two encryption keys, the encrypted main key and the encrypted app title, to encrypt the data when it's stored in the MongoDB database. And the reason why it does that is so that all of your wiki page content and things like that don't get stored in plain text in your Mongo database. And that way, if you use Compass or some other Mongo browser tool, you won't be able to actually read your data. So that way, if somebody's perusing the data, they won't be able to actually read it. But in order for that to work, that means that your database is now married to these two encryption keys. And that means you better not lose access to these encryption keys. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to read your data. All right. So this is warning you of that and telling you to make sure that you make a backup either of those keys, or if you prefer, you can make a backup of the entire app settings.json file. And so this has to be in capital letters. You type in, yes, I will make a backup. All right, so that's just letting you know that you do need to do that. All right, do you want to initialize the OpenSquiggly web service? Yes. All right, again here, the bin folder, just hit enter to accept the default and enter the username for the VM. I'm just going to hit enter to use the root. All right. And that should be it. So now if I just do sudo system control status OpenSquiggly, should be running. Sudo, I misspelled it. System control. There we go. All right, active and running. And I can also check out my Mongod. Install Mongo here and Elasticsearch. Right, all those are running and that looks good. So that's a good sign. That means that we should be up and running. So I'm going to leave off here for this video, and in the next video we're going to we're going to connect with our browser to this OpenSquiggly instance. We should get to the login page, and then we can create an account and do some stuff and test it out. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.